Heleworld is a company that's most known for their Plants vs. Zombies plushes, but they also made some plushes for a few other games, including Angry Birds. And while this plush set is actually really obscure, just like most of Heleworld's other plush sets, it's not really that well documented and there's not really many images of them. But yeah, they actually made a pretty good amount of Angry Birds plushes, so today we're going to be looking at all of them. So yeah, with that said, welcome to a look at the Heleworld Angry Birds plush set. Starting off, we have Red. Now, one quick thing to note about these plushes is that they're all really big, as though they were kind of meant to be pillows. As well, basically every single Heleworld plush was meant to be a pillow, so that's why they're just really big. But yeah, for all the details on the Red plush, they actually look really good and it seems to be really accurate. The eyebrows and eyes are made out of a fake leather material, so it could actually get damaged pretty easily. As well, especially because these plushes are getting older, the fake leather is kind of wearing away over time. But yeah, for the rest of the plush is really well detailed, and the feathers on the top of the head look pretty good and they're really nicely stuffed. And while the beak is also really nicely shaped and it's also really nicely stuffed, and they overall just did a really good job with this plush. And while there's also two other variants of this plush, they just have different faces. As well, we have this one with his eyes basically fully closed and you can barely even see them. And while the eyelids on this plush are made out of the same fake leather material as a normal Red plush's eyes. And while there's also this variant with his eyes really wide open and he looks to kind of be sort of surprised. And while his eyebrows are very far up his head, so it kind of looks weird. But yeah, once again, the eyes are made out of the exact same material as the normal Red plush and they all look really good. But yeah, Heleworld definitely did a good job of all three of these different plushes and they all look pretty unique. And well, if you want to get any of the plushes seen in this video, they're basically impossible to find, but I could recommend looking on websites like Zanyu and eBay. But just know that these plushes are basically impossible to find, as well I've never really seen them for sale at all. Next up we have Ruby. Now, just like the Red plush, they definitely did a really good job with this one, as well basically all the details are just really accurate. As well, the feathers are the exact same as the normal Red plush, and the bow on this plush looks really good and they did a great job with it. And while the facial expression also looks really good, as well they just made it look really accurate, it's made out of the same fake leather material as the normal Red plush. And well, they just did a really good job with all the designs on the face and everything, and it looks really accurate. And while all the details on this plush are just really nicely stuffed, so everything about this plush is basically just really good. And while I have to say, for bootleg Angry Birds plushes, these are actually some of the better ones I have seen, as well they actually look accurate unlike others. So yeah, this plush definitely does look really good and they got all the details correct on it. Now, moving on to probably the strangest plush in the entire set, we have this light blue bird. Now, this isn't an official Angry Bird, and I have no idea why they made this, as well, but it's literally just the Red plush, but it's blue. But I have to say, it actually does look pretty nice, as well, even though it's really not based off of anything, it doesn't really make sense to exist at all, it still looks pretty cool, as well, I like the color on it. So yeah, it's just a really strange and obscure plush that they made for some reason, but it's definitely one of my favorites as well. It just looks really unique and it kind of overall just makes the set a bit more unique. But yeah, everything about this plush is the exact same as the normal Red plush, except that it's just blue, obviously. But yeah, this definitely has to be the strangest plush in the entire set as well, but it's really not based off of anything. Moving on, we have the blues. Now, there's actually two designs of this plush, but we're going to be starting off with the first design. Now, this is the first design, and in my opinion, it looks pretty good. The feathers on the head are the exact same as the normal Red plush, but the eyes actually look unique. As well, the eyes look pretty good. The pupils probably should be a bit bigger, as well they're just kind of really small for some reason. But by far the strangest thing about this plush is that the red details under the eyes are just way too big. As well, for some reason they go all the way down to the beak, so it ends up making this plush just look really strange. And I think this plush would have just looked a lot better if they just made the red a lot smaller, as well, in my opinion, that would just make the plush look a lot better and just a lot less strange. But yeah, everything else about this plush looks pretty good, but if they just made the pupils a bit bigger and shrunk the red spots, this plush would be even better. And well, that's actually what they did for the second design as well. They basically enlarged the pupils so they look a bit bigger and also made the red circles just slightly smaller so they don't look as weird. And well, honestly, this would have been a really big improvement if they didn't make the blue cross-eyed. As well, I have no idea why they did this as well. They made both the eyes face the exact same direction, which just makes the plush look really strange. And I think they should have put the eyes in the exact same position as the first plush as well, in my opinion. That would just look a lot better than having him be cross-eyed. But at least they improved a few things on this plush, like making the red a bit smaller and also making the pupils a bit bigger. But yeah, honestly, both designs are not really that bad, but I would have to say that the second design is just slightly better. Moving on, we have Chuck. Now once again, there are two designs of him, but we're going to be starting off with the first design. Now the feathers on this plush look pretty good and they seem to be really nicely stuffed. Now one thing that I don't really like about this plush is that the eyebrows are just way too far away from the eyes. As well, for whatever reason, Heleworld just kind of made the eyebrows just go way too high up and they also are facing the wrong direction. And well, for the eyes, once again, I think they should have just made the pupils a bit bigger, and also they're facing the exact same direction as the blue, which does actually look fine. And well, the beak on this plush also looks fine, so yeah, they should have just changed the eyebrows on this plush and would just make it look a lot better. And well, I do have to say that the second design is actually a big improvement. As well, the base design for the plush is the exact same, but they changed the face and just made it look a lot better. As well, they made the eyebrows be in the correct spot, so that's already a big improvement, and they also made the pupils a bit bigger and put them in the center, which also just makes the plush just look a lot better. So yeah, this is definitely just a really big improvement compared to the first plush, as well they just made the eyes and eyebrows just look a lot better. So yeah, the second design is obviously the better version of this plush. Moving on to the next plush, we have the bomb. Now we're going to be starting off with the first variant of this plush, and it actually looks really good. As well, the feather on the top of his head looks pretty good, and all the face details actually look really nice. As well, the spot on his head looks accurate, the eyebrows and eyes also look pretty accurate as well. And well, one thing that actually makes this plush stick out from the others is that he actually has an open beak. As well, if you look on the side of the yellow, you could actually see a bit of black coming off the beak, which is his open mouth. So yeah, that is one detail on this plush that no other bird has in the set, so yeah, that's definitely something that makes this plush stand out compared to the others. And well, overall, basically everything on this plush just looks really good, and there's not really much they could have improved on. And well, for the second design, they really improved only one thing on this plush, just making the pupils a bit bigger. So yeah, that's really the only change about this plush. They also shrunk the eyes a bit more, and they also left the eyebrows the exact same size, so it kind of makes that look a bit weird, as though the eyebrows are just really big, but the eyes are just really small. But yeah, I do have to say that both variants are really good, and I actually don't really know which one is better, as though they're just kind of both really good. And well, the second design of this plush also has an open beak, which just gives it a bit more uniqueness. Next up, we have Matilda. Now, this plush only has one design of it, and it looks kind of strange. As well, the feathers on the head look fine, and same thing with the beak. The eyes just kind of look a bit strange, though. As well, I feel like they should have made the eyes just a bit bigger, as though they're just a bit small compared to the rest of the plush, and the pink circles under the eyes are also just way too big. As well, since the eyes are just really small, it makes the pink just look a lot bigger, so I think they should have just made the eyes a bit bigger and left the pink the exact same size as it is here, and I think that would have just made the plush look a bit better. But yeah, other than that, I don't really know what they could have changed about this plush, but overall, it just kind of looks a bit strange and off. And well, this plush never had a second design of it, so it seems that Heleworld never bothered to improve on it. But yeah, honestly, in my opinion, this plush just really isn't that good compared to the rest of the set. Moving on, we have How. Now, this plush actually has 3 variants of it. And well, the only change between these plushes are the face on them, as well basically every single other part of the plush is the exact same. So we're going to start off with the first design, and well, the feathers on the head look pretty good, and the beak is also just really nicely stuffed. So yeah, they definitely did a good job with the base design for this plush, but they kind of just changed the face on every single design for some reason. As well, the design on this face doesn't really look that bad. They should have just made the pupils just a bit bigger and also made the eyebrows just slightly closer to the eyes, but besides that, this design actually looks really good. And well, honestly, this might be the best design, as well the face actually looks pretty good. Now, for the second design, this one sort of looks strange, as though the eyebrows are just faced in a really weird way. As instead of going sideways, they're just sort of going straight up, and I don't really like that. They did make the pupils a bit bigger though, but this plush does look a sort of cross-eyed, so yeah, I think they should have just made the eyebrows at a bit more curved angle and not going basically straight up. And so that's one detail on this plush that I just don't really like. And well, we also have this design of the plush, which is definitely the strangest as well, but just uses red face on a How. And I have no idea why they made this plush at all as well, but just kind of looks really strange and doesn't even seem like it was supposed to exist. As well, it feels like more of an error plush than anything, as well. Red's face just kind of looks really strange being on a How plush. But one good thing about this image is that we actually get a better angle of the beak, so you could actually see that it looks even better from this angle. As for the other pictures, we couldn't really see how it actually looked. But yeah, all three of these designs use the exact same base pattern, they just changed the face on all of them. So yeah, in my opinion, the first design definitely has to be the best, and the one with the red's face just kind of looks really strange. It's probably the worst, as I don't really feel like it was ever supposed to be made. Now, starting off with the pigs, we have the minion pig. Now, this plush actually has two designs, but they're just very minor changes. As the first design, this plush just sort of has a weird shape to it, as it's not really a circular shape. As this pig plush is just way too wide and doesn't really look that accurate, but the second design is just a bit more rounded and it looks a lot better. But besides the shape on this plush, all the other details are the exact same, so yeah, there's nothing really else to say about the two, as they're literally just the exact same plush, but one's just slightly different in shape. But I do have to say that the second design just looks a lot better, as it's actually the correct shape for the character. But yeah, the inside of the ears on this plush are made out of the fake leather material, and it does look pretty good. And this pig plush is actually in a surprise expression, as you can see on the bottom of his mouth, you can see that his mouth is open, but you can't really see the mouth on this plush, so I think they should have just made it a bit bigger, as it was kind of hard to see. And every other detail on the pig plush looks pretty good, as they did a pretty good job with the surprise expression and everything, and the nose is really nicely stuffed. So yeah, they definitely did a really good job with this plush, and I have to say that the second design is just a lot better due to the shape of it. Next up, we have the mustache pig. Now, there's two designs of this plush, but we're going to be starting out with the first design, as unlike the last plush that we saw, this one actually has more of a bigger difference. Now, for the base part of this plush, the ears look the exact same as the minion pig, but the eyebrows are actually changed, and same thing with the eyes. As the eyebrows on this plush actually look a bit more accurate, and the eyes are facing the opposite direction, and it also looks pretty good. And the eyebrows are just really far up, but that makes sense, as this plush is just really big, so if they put the eyebrows too close to the eyes, it would make the rest of the plush just look strange. So it makes sense why they put the eyebrows so far up, as if they put them further down, it would just make the entire plush just look a bit off. And the nose on this plush is the exact same as the minion pig plush, and once again, it's really nicely stuffed. And for the mustache on this plush, it seems to be made out of a shiny material, as you could kind of tell that it shines a bit more in the light. And it's also an orange color, but one thing that you'll notice about this plush is that not really many things look accurate to a mustache pig. As you'll notice, basically everything like the eyes and the eyebrows are actually incorrect, as they actually made a second design of this plush which basically improved on everything that they did wrong with the first design. As here's the second design. As you can tell, they definitely did a much better job with this one, as they made the eyebrows the correct colors and also added some purple under the eyes just to give it a bit more accuracy. As you notice on the first design of this plush, it doesn't really have any details that make it look like a mustache pig besides the mustache, obviously. But that's basically the only detail they got correct on the first design, as the second design is just a really big improvement and it actually looks a lot better. My only criticism with this plush is that the mustache isn't big enough, and they should have made it a bit longer and be around the exact same size as the nose, as it just has a really small mustache. But besides that, every other detail on this plush is just a lot better than the first design. If you do somehow find this plush, I would definitely recommend getting the second design instead of the first design. Now, moving on to the final plush in the set, once again, is just kind of a strange one, as it's this pig plush. And I don't really know what to call it, as it's literally just a minion pig with his eyes closed. And I have no idea what this plush is based off of, or if it's based off of anything as well, but it just basically looks like the exact same thing as the minion pig, but his eyes are closed, and he also has a mouth under his nose instead of being fully far down in the surprise expression. As with the other minion pig plush, he didn't have a mouth under his nose, as it was much further down on the plush, but I actually do like this design better. But yeah, the eyelids on this plush are made out of the exact same fake leather material as everything else on this plush, and it still does look pretty good. So yeah, even though it's a pretty strange plush to make, it still looks pretty good and it looks pretty accurate. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please like and subscribe and comment down below which plush is your favorite, and yeah, have a great day.